Hi everyone, my name is Amy Miller and today I am doing my presentation on chapter 15, a mental illness progression. So first of all, what is mental illness? So we used to say things like crazy, lunatic, insane, and we don't say that anymore. We know that a mental illness, it's something that just deviates from the normal. These things are harmful behaviors such as self-mutilation, injury to others, or trying to unalive oneself. Delusions, hallucinations, inappropriate emotions such as laughing and crying at inappropriate times, and unpredictable or erratic behaviors. So mental illness was categorized into three categories: biological, such as injuries, tumors, or pollution of air, water, and food. Psychological, which is anxiety, grief, conflict, guilt, and supernatural, which is demonology and being possessed. So psychological caused biological and supernatural. That is what was taught, and that was what was believed for a very long time in the beginning of history when we started studying mental illness. They very early on, we started using psychotherapy, and a person must change their way, and it's a therapist's job to help them do so. And through this therapy, they can change their psychology, and changing their psychology means they could change their biology and also change the supernatural. They also had some practices that, we talk about now that we would never do, but back then it was very normal. So for supernatural, they did things like exorcism and magic. And then for biological, they did things like massage and baths and different things to try to heal those mental illnesses. So the mentally ill, they were killed and jailed and treated horribly. The history of mental illness, because it wasn't well known and there wasn't a lot of research being done yet, they weren't treated well. And because, as a society, people were, I think, afraid of them because it wasn't what was normal and what was accepted. And so they treated them very horribly. So Philippe Pinel, Benjamin Rush, and Dorothea Dix all believed that people with mental illness should be treated with respect, and they worked to improve their conditions. Emil Kraepelin, I'm probably saying that wrong, he published a list of mental disorders and studied the effects of drugs on cognitive and behavior functions. So he was a very big pioneer in psychopharmacology, which we, have today with prescriptions for mental illness. Lightner Whitmer, he named clinical psychology, and he was very influential because he worked in schools and with children with mental illness. Next was, as time went on, there was a lot of tension between biology and psychology and what was the reason for mental illness. So by the mid-19th century, mental illness was taught to be a disorder in physiology and in brain chemistry. The supernatural was pretty much gone, and the debate really was between the mental model, which is biology, and the psychological model. When reading about this chapter and learning, I found Thomas Szasz, I'm going to spell it S-Z-A-S-Z, it's in our textbook. I found him very interesting because he believed that if we labeled the mentally ill, that would be a problem if we gave them a label, because he believed that mental illness really was a problem with living or non-conforming. And so if we as clinicians labeled them with an illness, then it could encourage a person to act in certain ways dictated by the diagnosis. So I found that really fascinating. And then lastly, the Nancy School was created by Auguste Ambroise Lebeult. I don't know how to say that, I'm sorry. And he administered hypnosis, and individuals who believed that they could improve usually would. And I thought that was really powerful. So my resource is our textbook. Thanks, guys.